Howdy, and welcome to another What's Up Wednesday. Yes, it is March 8th, 6 p.m. Central, and we are coming at you with a big show tonight and a big lesson. Two lessons I've learned in the last 2 weeks that I want to share with you tonight. And I must say, if you're looking at this thumbnail here, that is my left foot. And if you're eating dinner, you may want to pause when I show some of these images coming up, because this stuff's pretty important. I didn't realize it, and I'm just glad to have you here. Howdy, my name is Scott. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Go Small, Live Large, all about the camper van travel experience. Just completed my 4th year of full-time travel in my Winnebago Travado, and just starting year 5, and frankly, it feels like we're just getting started. So it's a delight to have you here. I see a lot of regulars in the chat. So many thanks for joining me for another What's Up Wednesday. Woo! Episode 114 consecutive weeks of this program, helping you be a better RVer, whether you're still researching, taking trips of days, weeks, or months, or even a full-time traveler like myself. We got a big show for you tonight. Let me show you what we got going on. And I'm coming at you from Lukenbach, Texas, and that actually comes with some really good news. You'll see that in a second. Let me zoom in here. And that's where I'm actually staying the night tonight, is Lukenbach, Texas. This is the program for tonight. We're going to get right into the topic, which is fire ant, painful lesson learned. Miss Lily has been in the hospital since last Saturday, so we want to give you an update on that. That's new information. Libation Live, I got a special whiskey you want to try out, and then our song is going to be about Lukenbach, Texas. What a surprise that is. This is our Libation Live. This is Yellow Rose. It's made in Houston, Texas. I discovered it in Michigan, but I'm happy to say it's pretty plentiful here, and it's so delicious. And I want to say a big shout out to all of our folks watching on LinkedIn. And I'm seeing quite a few folks on the LinkedIn. So thank you for joining us. Got about 2,000 people on LinkedIn. I think this is our 4th week of doing the What's Up Wednesday with our LinkedIn friends. So it's just great to see that. I see some old Apple folks, my old Apple colleagues in here. This is great. Let me show you this survey we did, because it kind of ties into our program tonight. The question was, when RVing, which pest are you most concerned about? I was kind of surprised by this. Mosquitoes, I'm not sure I am concerned about them. Many of you were, 38% of you. Rodents was the number one concern. I can tell you mosquitoes are completely a nuisance. I've never had a rodent problem, and I've had a big fire ant problem. So I'm hoping to bring that up the scale so we can know more about that, because it is something to be aware of for sure. The jingle jar, the way this works is, if you feel like you're getting some value out of the program, or you want to support the Libation Live, clearly I need a new bottle here, give us a tip, a super sticker, super chat. And if you look at the $ down by your text field, hit that, and you see some options there. Don't feel obligated, but it sure does help go a long way to keep the program running. And we have a new part of the jingle jar that we started a couple weeks ago, and that is, when somebody does give a tip, we elevate their question right away, and then we jingle the jar. And that means if you're playing the jingle jar game, you got to have a drink, which means I might have to put some juice in my cup before we get started too far into the program. Just a delight, again, to have you on. And this is bringing some information for sure, but it's really about your questions. It's a live Q&A. If you can help me out with the question format, which is 3 asterisks, 3 question marks, then type your question. That helps me find it more quickly. And if you need some help on question topics, here's some topics for you. And I've added 2 new ones that would be in yellow: ants and a breakdown. And I'm actually kind of happy the breakdown happened, and where it happened and what happened. Excited for you to hear about this. All right, with that, we're going to hold on saying hello to a bunch of people. We're going to get right into the topic, because we're going to make a video of this. So let's go. Fire ant warning. So coming at you, I'm coming at you about this topic. It's pretty important. Let me zoom in here for you. So I'm going to tell you what happened and why. I'll tell you about my urgent care visit. Talk about the remedies that they provided to relieve the painful itching, and the prevention. Learn from my mistakes, which is a great way to learn things right. And that's what I want to share with you tonight. So let me tell you about what happened. I was at a KOA, in Montgomery. So I stay at KOA's about once a week to do tank duties, do laundry, and just kind of chill. In this case, I was washing my van. And if you look at how my van is placed, I'm actually pointed the opposite direction because I don't want to look at the RVs. And the direction I was actually pointed was down the road. So I had a clear view and a much more pleasant view than looking at a bunch of trailers. But when I did tank duty, I had to spin my vehicle around, and where I'm standing kind of by the front tire there, the passenger tire, that's where the utility pole was. So I did tank duty. I did notice an ant. It wasn't even a hill. It was just kind of an opening in the ground. It kind of looked like this. The inset in particular is what it really looked like. Now, all this was happening around me, and I wasn't really paying attention. That's the whole point of this. So I did my tank duty, which is I empty the tanks, I fill the fresh water, and then I move the vehicle up more onto the landing pad, the gravel pad, so that I could walk around the vehicle and not step on all the sewer connections, etc. So get the wash wand out, I get my hose out, and that's cold water, and I start washing the van. It takes about 15 minutes. Everything is kind of normal. Now, when I was doing tank duty, I kind of saw these ants, but I didn't really pay any attention to them. Maybe just ants, right? But later that day, I would say probably, I don't know, about 4 or 5 hours later, I noticed some really big itching on my left foot. And I'm like, well, it's just a mosquito bite. And sometimes mosquitoes in different areas of the country can really affect me different than in other areas of the country. So I'm like, it's just one of these weird mosquitoes that have a really serious bite, and they are, just kind of weird. But it was not going away. It was getting worse. And what was even more strange is that it was in a weird area and a weird placement along my foot. So I'm like, this is really bizarre. Got up the next day, and it's like crazy overnight. And I'm like, so I'm scratching, and that's not good. And it was only on my left foot. And I'm like, this is so weird. Mosquitoes love me, all of me, not just my left foot. So on Tuesday, the next day, I actually went to the urgent care. And I'm like, I thought I had, I don't know, leprosy. I don't know what the hell was going on. I'm like, what is this all about? And so that's why I went to urgent care, because I just wasn't sure. And being a traveler, urgent care is kind of first line defense for anything that's not super, super major. I walked in, they take all your vitals and stuff. And the doctor walks in. The nurse practitioner, the one that took all my vitals, she goes, those look like ant bites. I'm like, what? And then the doctor came in, and he looked at my foot, and he's like, yeah, those are fire ant bites. And then we spent the next 15 minutes talking about Vanlife, because he was trying to justify the bill of, time, because he diagnosed it in literally less than a minute. And it was fire ants. And I got to tell you, I'm like, what? Tell me about this. And then I had to run out and do some research. This is what they gave me for a prescription. I don't know how to say this, so I'm not going to try. There it is for you. So I walked over to got the prescription, walked over to the local homegrown pharmacy, not Walgreens, not CVS. And they said, this will help the itching. And I'm not sure that it did, because I put it on right away. What he did say also is to take Benadryl in particular. So that's why it's on top of the list here, because that's what he told me. The only Benadryl I have is the drowsy stuff. And I was driving, so I didn't want to be drowsy, but I took a Zyrtec. I can tell you, Zyrtec worked like magic. And the bottom one there, that's the clock. That he said it's just time. You're not going to die from this. You're not having an allergic reaction. Some people do, very rare, but some people do. So he's got to control the itching, Zyrtec, Benadryl, and put this cream on. It'll help it heal. And I'm like, okay. And so if you're eating supper, you might want not to look at this. So this is day 3 now. I took a picture of this, and you see, these things were blistering up. I couldn't believe it. I've never had anything like this before. And that's kind of looking at the left side of my foot. This is the right side. You can see that those 4 right in a row there. That's what clued me into this is not a mosquito bite. Mosquitoes don't do that. And actually, I'm on the bottom of my foot too. And the problem was, I was using flip-flops to wash the van, and I was stepping in that ant nest where I had kind of jostled them from doing the tank duty. I was kind of keeping an eye on them because, I don't want to disturb an ant nest necessarily. But once I got moving with the wash wand and the cold water, I didn't feel it on my anything right away. And I just kept washing. So let me share with you what the fire ant symptoms are, and this will maybe help you save yourself a trip to the urgent care. Where's my cursor? All right, here we go. So I'll zoom in here for you so you can see this. Let me know if you've had an ant bite like this. I'm pretty old and I've never had this happen before. That's why I was just like, what in the hell? So apparently this species of ant come from South America. They're really prevalent in the southern United States. They actually inject venom after they bite you. They bite with their mandibles and then they sting you with their stinger. It injects an alkaloid venom. I'm like, what? And this is why they look and are so painful. And for me, it wasn't so much a burning pain. It was this stinging that was so deep inside the skin, even though I was scratching and shouldn't be, it didn't satisfy the itch. So for me, it was really the itching. Then it causes pus-filled blisters, and they look like pimples. So let me show you. This is day 5. And so the blisters have kind of popped. That one that you saw on day 3, right in the middle there, that one finally popped. I actually pierced that one because I was getting nervous about it. So I had this gaping hole, and they literally had like a little whitehead before they popped. So it's just so gross, number one. And I'm like, this is just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So I just wanted to share this with you so you don't have the same problem that I had. So prevention, are you ready for this? It's kind of obvious, but there are some specific things. And if you do a Google search on fire ants, there's all kinds of stuff that you'll learn about it. But let me share with you. I'll zoom in here for you. Okay, so this is what to look for. So there's kind of 2 varieties of the ant nest. This is kind of like loose, broken dirt. The inset is really what it looked like. It was right by the utility pole, by the water pole. So they kind of like the moisture, or they're out in a pasture or a field with a typical ant hill that we all know. But this one was very didn't represent what the danger actually was. So again, what you're looking for is a small patch of disturbed soil in lawns, pastures, or roadsides. So this was right at the edge of where the gravel, crushed rock for the rig to sit on versus where the grass was, and then by the utility poles. And here is what I am doing to prevent this from ever happening to me again, and I suggest for you. Number 1, inspect the campsite. Notify the management and move sites if you're able to. Do not disturb or poison the ant nest. And I've since put ant traps in my RV. I've had the little tiny sugar ants in my rig for about a month, and they've been taken care of. So I went and bought some fresh ones. So that's what I'm doing going forward. Is I'm going to inspect the site before I even get set up for camp. This goes for any kind of camp. I was even at Lukenbach Field this afternoon. I'm looking around. I'm like, I'm looking for ant nests now because I'm never going through this again. And notify management, see if they'll move sites. I actually called that KOA and said, hey, this is me. You might remember my van. They did. I was in C1, and you have an ant nest? Yeah, we know. I said, those are actually fire ants. I ended up in urgent care yesterday because they stung me so badly. So, and what I'm doing is in a preventive measure, I bought new ant traps. Let me give you a hot tip here in a minute on ant traps. So this is day 8. This was, I think, yesterday. Let me zoom in here for you. So it's taken a long time for these things to heal. And one of them actually started itching really bad on the underside of my foot again. And I'm telling you, it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And I don't want you to have to go through that ever, because it was not fun. It's still not fun. And thankfully, it was on one foot, I guess, and not everywhere. I mean, can you imagine if you had a small child out there running around? So here's talking about ant traps. RV safe. So I made this mistake a couple of months ago, and I bought liquid-filled ant traps because I had, again, sugar ants, largely from home base, because the ants are just terrible in Florida. So there, the big red X. Do not get liquid ant baits because it literally will come out of the container when you're moving, and it's really sticky stuff. It's almost like liquid glue. It's like corn syrup. It's just super sticky. So instead, get the ant bait that is not liquid. You can see the brand there. And if you're really concerned about fire ants. I might look for this in smaller packages. This is specifically made to kill fire ants. Amdro is the brand, and this was recommended for Texans because these fire ants are pretty bad in Texas, and apparently in Montgomery, Alabama. So you might want to take a screenshot of that. So that's what I want to talk to you about tonight is just be aware of them, number one. And again, I'm going to respect the fire ant for sure, and I'm going to inspect my site going forward to see if there's any of these type of ants, and then move. And then if bitten, heaven forbid, at least I know what to do now. Now you know what to do as well. And I'm keeping ant traps in my RV on a go-forward basis just to make sure they don't get in my van. Can you imagine if those things ended up in my van somehow? The sugar ants, those are kind of no problem. They're just kind of a nuisance. So that's what I had for you on the fire ant warning. Thank you for staying tuned for that. But I learned a really big lesson. Hopefully you don't have to go through that at all. Give us a thumb up if you're enjoying this. Okay. Woo! That was a lot of talking. I'm telling you, it was just the grossest thing. Okay, so let's see if we can get a few questions, and then we'll roll forward. I'll tell you where I am, and then I want to tell you about the breakdown I had on Saturday. It was pretty bad and good, but let's take a look at some questions here. Looks like Mesa Mike is on his way to our Texas campout. It's so cool, sir, that you're coming to Texas. It's kind of a long haul from Arizona. It's 1,000 miles. But I just drove 4 hours today from Houston. So there you go. Let's see. Ron's in the house. Ron, great to see you. So we're looking for some questions. And then we'll come back and say hi to folks. This will give the question folks a chance. Here's a Pash. No way, sir. How are you? It's my old Apple colleague. This is great. Yeah, WTF. What, the farm? I've got Rob in the house. Come to Naples, Florida. I just left Florida. Oh, glad to be out of Florida. That's home base. I can't. Pash is in the house. This is so great. He's just one of the coolest cats ever. Jeremy Wyatt from LinkedIn. Wow, Jeremy, what's up? This is great. Off of LinkedIn. Thanks for joining the simulcast. Appreciate that. Looking for some questions. Here's Roads of Life. Thank you for joining us, sir. Mosquitoes aren't an issue. Trust me, Texas mosquitoes can carry off a big dog. Yeah, I agree. I spray myself kind of pretty liberally with the stuff and wear pants and boots and long sleeve shirts typically in Texas, unless it's really hot. But they're more of a nuisance, and I've got bug zappers on the inside. So to me, worst case is they're going to get me someplace, but I spray. So those really aren't an issue for me, but I know they are a big pain for some people. There's Jeremy in Seattle. It's so great. Of course I miss Pash. He's a great guy. He still is a great guy. Let's see. That's so crazy. So Roads of Life. What you drinking, Scott? We are having Midnight Zoomies from Project Halo Brewing out in Flusher. Aren't you guys in Houston? I could have come camp in your guest room, sit at the Residence Inn. Didn't think about that. We are drinking Yellow Rose Outlaw Bourbon tonight. We'll be doing that here in just a moment. Here we got a... this is interesting. Tangfish says ants love water. They got to my rig through the fresh water fill. Interesting. Yeah, I've had just the sugar ants, and they seem to have kind of nested in the outlet and then the coffee filters. So these are just the sugar ants from Florida. Here's Audie, our first jingle in the jar tonight. Thank you so much for that. Very generous $10 super sticker. Appreciate that a lot. So if you're playing the game, all right, I'll play with you. Although I'm technically in a parking lot. So this is Libation Live. So this, again, I discovered this in Michigan last summer, and it was really hard to find. It's pretty plentiful here, and we'll talk about this in more detail. Okay, so here's the deal. You got to drink if you're playing the game. And where this comes from, oh, that's so delicious. It's 100% corn, so it's really kind of sweet. It tastes like corn. It's so delicious. Where this comes from is, as I travel around, I collect Now bourbon mostly, but sometimes wine and beer. And I just want to share that with y'all, and then show you how you can get it maybe in your location. Question here from Mary Go Round. She wants to know, didn't you feel them bite you? The answer is no. Why? Because I was moving around the van. I was washing. The water was cold water on my bare feet in flip flops, and I think it's just when I got to the one area where I kind of disturbed them already a little bit with the tank duty, and then when I put my foot right where they were, that's when they got me. And there's just so much going on. No, I didn't feel them, and not in quite a while later. Actually, I was kind of surprised by that. Pastor got a question from LinkedIn. This is so great. My aunt bit me once. Should I have taken Zyrtec? Maybe a rabies shot if your aunt bit you. I don't know. Is she a nice aunt or a bad aunt? That's kind of hard to say. And here's Adi's question there. This is perfect. Missed my question with Super Chat. How do you deal with the bugs in Florida? It was terrible for us. Yeah, there's a couple ways to do that. There is keep the window shut. And which is kind of makes sense in warm climates, keep the air conditioning in. And at night, if it cools down enough, you really even can't use the open windows and the screens because any lights will attract the bugs. So I just keep the window shut, AC running, and then I have bug zappers. I don't have one really close to show you. Maybe I do, because everything in the van is 3 feet away. So if you go to my website, Go Small Live Large, I still need to make a video about these. It was one of you that recommended this. They are USB rechargeable. To turn on. The battery might be dead. But these work really well. And they don't zap. They just kind of zap very quietly. But if you go to my website, Go Small Live Large, go to my product page. These are there. And they come in a 3-pack. And if you got bugs like flies and things like that, mosquitoes for sure, that's what you want to do. And be sure and carry bug spray with you. And if you're outside and your mosquitoes are your thing, they love me. They don't even know who Kyle is, and so I spray. And what I've been doing lately too is, if I'm going to be outside working, I've got a couple cans of Raid, kind of all insect Raid, and I kind of spray the picnic table, spray the ground, and kind of spray the air a little bit, because I find that they just are kind of curious, and if there's just that scent in the air of the insecticide, they kind of go away. So I've been doing that, and I will definitely be watching out for fire ants. Good question, Audie. Thank you. Hopefully that helps. Teresa, fire ants. Welcome to Texas. But in Montgomery, Alabama. What? Let's see. Bash is. I hear listening to Taylor Swift does the same, as in keeping the fire ants away. Also, you need a pedicure. Yes, sir. That is true. I need a mani-pedi. That is no doubt true. Okay, let me let's see what we've got going on here. Let me share a little bit more information for you where I'm coming at you from. Bear with me. And this is a big weekend. I'm really excited about this. So I'm coming at you from Lukenbach, Texas, technically Fredericksburg right now because the cell signal up was really bad. So I had to move to a parking lot in Lukenbach, Texas. So here's Lukenbach. I'll zoom in here so you can see it. It's about 90 minutes west of Austin. Kind of easiest to get to. It's right in the middle of Texas Hill Country. It's about the same amount of time from San Antonio. And it's a pretty big haul from Houston, where I left this morning. It's about 4 hours. But that's where it is. And here's the weather today. It's going to be beautiful tonight. 60 degrees. It was a high of 77. Overcast today. So we're not going to, it's still overcast. Oh, it's breaking up maybe a little bit. There's a full moon tonight. So when you go outside, look at the full moon. But it's pretty cold elsewhere in the country, right? This is gas prices in our area of Fredericksburg, Lukenbach, Texas. A big old spread, 30 cents. I paid $3.09. I did not go to the HEB, which I should have, at $2.89. And then if you're wanting to buy a house in Fredericksburg, it's really expensive. This is a tourist high-end area. There's at least 15 to 20 wineries around here, and it is pretty expensive to buy some property in Fredericksburg, Texas. Pennsylvania. What the hell? What's up Wednesday? What do we have coming up? So next week we're gonna do another open mic Vanlife Q&A. We did this a few weeks ago. What this means is I'm gonna put an email up on the screen, and if you want to be on the show, ask it live, be my guest for a few minutes. We'll talk back and forth, and then you kind of go out of the studio. But we're gonna try this again next week. It was a lot of fun last time we did it, and open mic. And come on, be in the studio with me virtually, and we'll give you the instructions on how to do that next week. But if you want to be on the show, this is your big chance. Upcoming guests in April, we've got Livermore Camper Vans joining us. Really excited about that. Let's see if we got a few folks in here. We always like to say hi to folks. So we got Sherry's checking in from Neenah, Wisconsin. Cold with snow. Yeah, you guys are getting the winter up there this year. It's so great. Here's Rob. Good to see you, sir, in Florida. This is great. He's a great guy. Rich is in the house. This is so great. Justin's in the house somewhere near Albuquerque, New Mexico. Harvest host for the night. 3-4. I think gas has kind of gone up again, which is interesting. There's Columbus, Ohio's in the house. We got Bill and Joe. Live free in a camper van. Thank you for checking in with us tonight. Appreciate that. There's Pash again. This is great. Let me scroll down a little bit. Jack's in the house. Jack, have you had this? Jack's kind of a big bourbon guy. Curious if you've had that, sir. Let us know. It's time for a drink. Yeah, I think so. And search for some questions. And so Rev, Tina Simmons says those ants are wicked. They hurt so bad. I used to use aloe with lidocaine to help numb and cortisone cream. Also ice right after to numb. Yeah, those are all great ideas. So anybody clearly that's been bitten by these things, respect the fire ant. I'm telling you, I'm changing the way I roll. So thank you for sharing that. Here's Sparks Guy. For inflammation from yellow jacket stings, I've used apple cider vinegar compress. Also good for libation live in small doses. It treats nerve pain when ingested. Well, so does this. Thank you, Sparks Guy. Let's see, question here. Gary, and then we'll get a few more things to go through. Gary wants to know, do you have screens on your slider door and back door? Do you use them often, and how effective are they? So the back doors had a snap-in screen. It took a few minutes to install. I used it once, never did it again. I would not be leaving my back doors open to wherever I am because I'm mostly an urban cowboy. But even at like a campground, even boondocking, I'm not using those at night for sure. Having the only thing between me and the grizzly bear is a screen. I'm not so I got rid of mine for the back doors. I do wish my windows open back there though. The patio door, I can tell you, does a pretty good job, but again, if there's light in here and the bugs are really curious, they want to come in and enjoy the light. So in that case, all the screens in the van really are not super effective if it's dark and there's bugs and you're illuminating. So I kind of go on dark mode when trying to use my screen. But yeah, it's pretty effective for sure. So here's Lyle. He's saying the same thing. So this is kind of interesting. We all have the same experience. So take it to heart, folks. So Lyle had an infestation at campground when the ants used my shore power code to enter. Oh, that's interesting. I'm actually seeing the sugar ants in Florida marching up the thing. So that's something to watch for. So yeah, I just think putting the, these ant trap things, these things, that's kind of strategically placed. I got new ones because of the fire ants. I just want to make sure there was nothing in the van. But yeah, if you're getting, we got a new neighbor. That's cool. He's in a, I don't know what's he in. Pleasure Way, maybe. Anyway, I'm at a Walmart. But head to Luke and Buck, so we're done with this. Let's see. Let's keep going. Let's go. See some more questions in here. So let's go a little bit further. I want to talk about the van event. So this is happening this weekend. I'm really, really excited. This is what brings me to the area. There's a bunch of you coming. We got about 40 people coming for day of, and combination of day of plus overnighting. And I'm just really, really excited. So we're kind of filled up on this event. But I'm happy to say that this event at the Weird Wild West, this is the end of April in Bisbee, Arizona. This is not our event, but we are joining an event, much like we did with the Florida Vanlife Gathering. And it's in a tiny town in Arizona, and it's going to be so much fun. We got so many folks already coming to this. And where the Russos are coming. Storyteller is a sponsor, so a lot of the Storyteller folks will be there. I'm staying in the Catholic Church parking lot. There's a lot of options. Maybe I can get to church while I'm there. I don't know. Probably not. But this is where it is, and if you are in the area, it's about an hour and a half south of Tucson, about 3 hours from El Paso. So, but go to their website. That's weirdwildwest.net. Get all the information there. It'd be a delight to camp out with you. We had so much fun at the Florida Vanlife Gathering. Okay, let's keep going. And videos. So we got videos. This is a YouTube channel, right? And apparently LinkedIn simulcast. I'm just so glad y'all are here. It's so great. So this video was my drive-in park video of the imported Italian Wingham Oasis 640. If you haven't seen this, see this video. It really showcases how small this vehicle is on the outside, but how big it is on the inside. And when you see the realtor who just rolled up on us, her reaction to it, you will get a big chuckle. She was amazing. You think she would have been, was an actress. So if you haven't seen that, you want to see that video. And the video I have coming up this Sunday, it releases at 5:40 p.m. Central Time as a premiere, is we've just bought 2 new RVs as part of an Airbnb property. And I'm sharing the horror story of this purchase process, what we went through, what we would do differently next time. So that if you're shopping for an RV, you're going to take away some tips that I'm applying to myself next time. You do not want to miss this video. It's a very serious video. And I can tell you that the 2 rigs that they delivered a month ago today, still are not functional, because they were delivered in the manner that they were. You'd think somebody like me would get it, and we thought we had it, and it turns out we didn't have it at all. So you don't want to miss that video. Subscribe to the channel, of course, please. Love to see that. Join me on Instagram. Man, I need to post some stuff on Instagram. It's been a while. And stickers. We still have stickers available, and we do it the old school method. It's a self-addressed stamped envelope with cash. My mother-in-law processes it. If you want stickers, go to my website, Go Small, Live Large. And before I talk about van breakdown, let's look at some other questions here. So Teresa's saying, I worry most about rodents as they can cause some real damage to the van, like they chew wires. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that. Teresa, you're in your rig a lot. I am too. So I don't think they're going to bother me because we're in the van a lot, like every day. And I think, but if it's stored someplace, that's a different situation altogether. So maybe put some ant traps out, or mouse traps. Could have stayed with you. Why didn't you? I didn't think about it. It was a crisis moment. And next time we're in Houston, I love Houston. Even though I was stranded there, we'll tell you in a minute. Greg Johnson in the house. Good to see you, sir. Wheeling, Illinois. Let's see. So Dan's saying he's noticed fire ants while in a motel by the pool, jumped in the water to get away from them, and they were coming after us. Yeah, if you do some Google searching, these things are like the alien from Sigourney Weaver movie. They can survive freezing. They can survive drought. Mother Nature's amazing, but when they're causing welts and bites and blisters on my feet, I'm not too impressed, but they are pretty impressive. Thank you for sharing that. So here's Denim Rue. As an old pest control person, I recommend Biffin, liquid or granular. Biffin. Okay, I'll look for that. That's a good tip. So everybody take that. All right, John is doing us a favor here. He's giving us a jingle in the jar. Thank you, sir, for that. That means we all have to have a little sip of our Libation Live. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. That goes a long way to help support the habit. Let's see. So pulling away is a Sprinter van, the long wheelbase. It's a new use case for a van. On the side, it's pregnancy tests, sonograms, and STD testing. They were parked over at the Walmart with some cones out. So apparently, trying to get some of the Walmart customers from Fredericksburg to come get an STD testing in the van. It's wrapped with this huge thing. Pretty hysterical. Let's see. Justin got a question here. Looks like only day pass are available for Weird Wild West. I waited too long to register. No overnight left. So there you go. Sold out. It's not a big field. It's small parking lots in this small town. So day passes only. Well, come down for the day. And there is some places pretty nearby. If you look at Wilcox, Arizona, with 2 L's, it's not too far away, actually. And there's a KOA there, and there's the Cattle Rest Saloon. I'm actually going there. I can't remember if it's before or after the Weird Wild West to chill out. So that's a bummer. But come see us for the day. It's going to be so much fun. There's so much stuff going on. I'm actually doing, I think the thing starts Thursday technically, but Friday, the second day of the event, I'm doing my Urban Camping 101 with some tweaks to what we learned from the Florida Vanlife gathering class that I did. We're going to be doing that class again. And what a perfect place in a small town to be doing urban camping class, right? All right, let me tell you about my van. How are we doing on time? Pretty good. And we're just about done with the questions. So this is great. All right, so let me share my breakdown story with you. I did record most of this. So we'll do a video, but I want to share it with you all because it's really fresh on my mind. So what happened was I was rolling out of a Harvest Host site in downtown Houston, Equal Parts Brewing. If you haven't been there, spectacular place. And I was headed to Austin to stay a few nights and then get to Fredericksburg so I can kind of get a sense of where everything is for our camp out this weekend. Because I don't like to be surprised when I have 40 people follow me around, right? I literally get on, not the expressway, thank God. It was this kind of high-speed boulevard. It goes right by the downtown aquarium. And because we had this happen to our Mercedes AMG a few months ago at home base, I knew exactly what had happened. The serpentine belt broke. I smelled the burning rubber. And then the power steering is like, what in the hell? And then all of a sudden you get the battery charge light. And then you start to see the temperature climb like this. And all of a sudden the red light comes on. Now I had to drive it 1,000 or 2 feet to get over to this pull-off that you're seeing here. But I turned the engine off right away because there's literally nothing moving, just the pistons, right? It would drive, but there's no coolant. There's no power steering. So it's a super dangerous situation. And I took a deep breath, and I'm like, this couldn't happen in a better place, because if I had been on the back roads of Austin, on the way to Austin, this would have been really a problem. So that's me on the side of the road. So that was Saturday, March at noon-ish. And the first thing I did was, what do you think I did first? I wanted to do this, but it's not what I did. First thing I did is I got out my app for Progressive Insurance, because that's who the van is insured for. And I got right here, and they do this little text thing. So you call the number, they send you a text, and then you go through the automated system to get a tow truck. And here's a big tip when you're doing this, because our vans are super heavy, and you don't want to get just a tow truck. You want a flatbed truck like this big boy right here. And I was fortunate. This guy showed up like within 45 minutes. Was really impressed with Progressive, and this company, I think it was, I can't remember the name of it, but had a really good experienced driver. He noticed the trees above. So imagine this, that van, it's 10 feet tall, and we're putting it on a flatbed truck, basically. That's about 4 feet off the ground. So I have a rig that's basically 15 feet in height now. So he's like, yeah, this tree you're under, we are not going to be able to get it on the van or up on the bed and pull it out of here. So we're going to push the van back toward that curve point there. You see the curve point? So we can, when he pulls out, it is not pulling me under these trees, which would have wrecked the van. So he noticed it. I didn't, which is pretty amazing. So so that was Saturday about noon, and by about it was about 2 o'clock. We were rolling into the dealer. So I'd called the dealer. So the first thing I did is get the tow thing going. So they're working it. Then I'm looking for a van or Ram dealer nearby that can accommodate my vehicle. And again, I call the service. They have short hours on Saturday, and I explain serpentine belt broke. The vehicle's completely disabled. I have a flatbed truck. Can you handle a Winnebago Travato, or I'm sorry, a Ram ProMaster 3500 that's been modified by Winnebago? It weighs 8,600 pounds. Do you have the lift equipment? Do you have the roll-up door height? And can you handle this rig? The first one said no. The second one said yes. Perfect. And so I warned him. I said, the tow truck's coming. We're inbound. He said, if you get here about 2 o'clock, I'll still be here. We close at 3. Sales will be open. Beautiful. So we went through. I went all through what the deal was with the Volta system. You got waste in here. You got water. You got electricity. I said, this is a motorhome. You're going to see in the engine cavity that it's been modified. So let's take a look at that right away while I'm still there. Because if we can't deal with it, then we'll find someplace else. They said they can fix it, but they can't really look at it with any seriousness until Monday. That was Saturday. So they put the van down and got it off the flatbed. And then I went to, what do you think I did next? Yeah, I had to pack a bag for overnighting in a hotel. And because I wasn't sure how long it was going to take, I wanted to turn the Volta system off. It had about an 80% state of charge. And I wanted to turn it off so that if this thing ran, because it was going to be looked at on Monday, and they really couldn't get till Tuesday. Now we're at 4 days-ish. And the battery, even with just the fridge only running, would last me 4 to maybe 5 days. And I only had 80%. So I was kind of at that 4-day limit. So what I wanted to do is turn the Volta system off, which then turns the fridge and freezer off. So now I'm taking everything out of the fridge and freezer, and it will defrost. So I put all my towels in where the frost builds up, which is in the freezer or the fridge cooling plate. That's where it freezes. So I didn't have any water going out. So when you have this type of a situation, it's really important to turn your Volta system off if you're going to be anything more than a few days. Empty your fridge. It's going to defrost anyway. Put towels in there to soak up all the water. I had to get off the property. Otherwise, someplace else I could have done it and managed that a little differently. Packed a bag and off I went. And Saturday, this was where I called home. This was a Residence Inn. And the great news was this is the Galleria area of Houston. It's a lot of really famous shopping and a lot of restaurants and stuff. I actually had to walk. I walked a lot. And I Ubered a lot. Great news is that about noon on Monday, this is the text I got from the technician. I cannot tell you what a breath of fresh air it was to get a technician or the service advisor and the technician in sync. And they were so polite and so helpful. I mean, if you read this, I'm going to zoom in here for you. This was a text message. He gave me his cell phone. I wouldn't say they felt sorry for me. Maybe that's standard practice. Here's the problem. Here's what we want to do. Here's the price. Or you want to proceed? I'm like, hell yes. How fast can this be done? I'm like, so what I did is I went to because I was worried about the belts and the Volta second alternator. So I went to the Winnebago, the Facebook group for the Travato owners and wannabes. And this is, if you type in serpentine belt, you'll find a number of posts, and this one comes up. So I took a screenshot and I sent it to Leo, the advisor there. And I said, this is what the belts are. Please let me know if this is going to be a problem, because what I don't want is have this sit around for a few days and you guys figure out you can't get this done. Because I got a campout coming up. And he texts me back and it's like, parts are fine. We're probably going to have this done for you tomorrow, Tuesday. I'm like, what? So this is what he texts me. I'll zoom in here for you. Later that day, parts are fine. Should be the end of the day tomorrow. If there's no underlying problems, you're good to go. And this is literally what I got yesterday at about 3 p.m. The work on your van's done. He called me, and this is my transcription. The work is done. It's been road tested. Everything is good to go. Your bill is now $100 less, actually, because labor went a little faster. And I'm like, it's another Vanlife miracle. I cannot believe it. Cannot believe it. Because the last time this happened with my cylinder head, it was almost 10 days with that Ram dealer up in near Grand Rapids. What a nightmare experience that was. These guys, I'm telling you, are over the top. And so I said, well, it's late. I already paid for a hotel room, so I can't do anything about it tonight. So we'll pick up first thing in the morning. Here I am this morning. And then I've texted the family and the friends saying, hey, this is the technician getting out of the cab. There's the service advisor getting ready to get the keys. And I was a happy camper. And because I had a plan B, because I have a camp out this weekend, right? And that was to go rent a van. I found there was one in Houston. It was this home-built ProMaster 2500, 180 a night. Had a Lavio toilet. That's why I was excited about this one. Everybody else had a nothing or a cassette toilet. And this is not the way I want to experiment with cassette toilets. So I was prepared to pull the trigger to rent this. And fortunately, I didn't have to. So that's the story. So you'll see the video. And the video will contain tips like I just shared with you. But I thought it was just important to update you. This is my second being stranded at 106,000 miles now. The first time with a cylinder head at 49,000 miles. This has been on my proactive fix list for some time. Volta warned me a year and a half ago. Joe Russo warned me a few months ago, and I didn't heed their warning. And I lucked out because of where it happened with a super great dealer. Oh my God, these guys, I need to send them a bottle of booze. Just unbelievable service, unbelievable communication, unbelievable professional. And Helfin Ram by the KT Freeway. All right, let's take some questions. And then we got Libation Live, even though we kind of started. You having fun tonight? Give us a thumb up. I got a pretty good crowd here tonight. Okay, so let's see. We got some new questions. And John saying, Song of the Week should be Ants Marching by Dave Matthews. That would be a good one. The other good one would be Ant Music by Adam and the Ants. But it got trumped by Lukenbach because we're in Lukenbach. So we got a little information on that coming up for you in a minute. But yeah, thanks. That's a good one. Ants Marching. Let's see. So Roads of Life got a good question here. I ask you this all the time, so I'll ask again. If Lily completely dies, what would be your next van? Assuming no older Travados are available. In other words, new RV. It would be super tough, sir. I'm telling you. I'd find a used Travado. Because they're still available for like 124 grand. National Park Edition GL. Why? Just because this floor plan meets all my needs. And my big non-negotiables is the table and the toilet. Because I use my toilet. And so I don't know. So it would be a short list, but and would have to have Volta or a really high-end lithium system. But working with Volta, I would need to have a Volta system, the green light right there. So those are kind of three non-negotiables. So I don't know. Might have one built for me because nothing else is available. And I was really kind of disappointed that the new Road Trek Pivot, which has a cool pivoting bathroom, which is so awesome out of Europe, they went to a cassette toilet. And part of this whole experience, so I'm sorry I don't have a good answer for you. I'm still going with a used Winnebago Travado National Park Edition because it's got the 4 cells of a Volta, and it's got a traditional, just like my floor plan. So that's what I would buy, 2021, ideally less than 25,000 miles. And then I'd lift it, I'd wrap it, put the brush guard on it, everything I'd done. Jack's got a good point here. Thank you, Jack. This is what we like to do is just we learn together, we share together. Jack's saying, consider a pest rider on your insurance policy. If you're worried about wires being chewed, costs me about $18 a year. Holy cow. That's worth it. Larry G, this is See Me G. RV info, RV sales. Thor, second quarter. Profit, is that down? I think they had I saw that also, and they kind of retracted that. Because sales have been going down. But if that's, I think the new unit pricing is definitely getting compressed, and used pricing is probably haven't looked for a while. We need to do that experiment. But yeah, if you like the new Travato floor plans, they're kind of putting the MSRP like 190 grand, but then they whack 40% off. So never look at the MSRP as anything other than just, and then take what they're discounting it to and start bargaining from that point. I think would be the, so those are just profits. So yeah, they're making some money. This is not bad. Companies need to make money, right? So here's Rich. He's got a ProMaster also. Rich is saying, been through 2 belts, an alternator, idler pulley, and tensioner in the last 2 months. If you live with freezing temperatures, make sure water doesn't infiltrate the engine compartment. Boy, you've been through a similar experience on a much younger vehicle, Rich. But it sounds like you got taken care of. That is great. Scott, see with us next time. I will do that. Sorry, you get wrapped in that. And I got all the stuff going on with the camp out. So I actually got a lot of stuff done. So that's really good news. I put to good use. But next time I will. Love the street camp, at least driveway camp one night. That would be great. Mayor Go Around's got a suggestion here. TRV Products in Lake Havasu is who I use for repairs. They let you stay in your van, which is an interesting point. And I thought about asking them. So staying at a van, like at a service place, I didn't want to push the luck because it was super hot. And it was the way the van was pointed, it was going to be, the sun was just blasting out. So I didn't run the AC. Then I have no way to charge the battery. So I didn't want to go down that path. But it's a good point. Thank you. Hey, Mason Mike just got to La Cruces, New Mexico, Harvest Host. This is great. What has been the most expensive fix on Lily so far? Well, the cylinder head was covered under warranty, but I had a big, expensive hotel bill that they said they would help take care of because they dilly-dallied, they the dealer. This one was $1,400. I mean, it was. I was shocked at $1,337. So I put this in the video with what they did and everything, but for what they had to go through, and Progressive took care of all the towing bill. There was 0 on towing bill. I gave that guy a 20 spot for being really attentive because I didn't think about the trees above. And then as we were driving, monitoring the trees, because at 15-foot clearance was something I hadn't thought of. So he did a great job. So I don't know, most expensive repair. Repair modifications where I've had to put the money here. The AC and the lift, the wrap. So they've really been pretty cheap on the repairs. Good question. Scott, who would you use to build your van for you? Wants to know Bill and Joe. It's a good question. I'd have to find somebody that's willing to put in a traditional wet flush toilet black tank situation and a shower. And maybe Storyteller will come out with something. If they come out with a real toilet in there, that's definitely on the table. I could probably deal with a small fridge, maybe deal with the table. They got kind of a cool bed in a hallway. They definitely have Volta, but they know my position on the toilet. All right, let's do some Libation Life. How are we doing on time? Oh my God, we're almost out of time. Okay, so Libation Life. Here we go. You ready? Okay, we already got the cork off the bottle. So this is made in, distilled and aged in Houston, and it is Yellow Rose. I discovered it in Racine, Wisconsin last summer. I keep looking for it. It's on my shopping list, as is Lone Elm out of Texas, which I discovered in Racine, Wisconsin as well. Have never seen that. This Yellow Rose I have now seen, and it's pretty plentiful here in Texas, it looks like. Comes in a couple of flavors here. I'm doing the Outlaw Bourbon. It's 100%, corn. They do have a premium whiskey and then a rye. And then we've got some barrel stuff. But I think what makes this kind of interesting is the 100% corn. And what was on here that caught my eye is that because unlike Tennessee and Kentucky, where 4, 5, 6 months of the year it is cold weather, in Texas, it's pretty much hot weather all the time. So it's kind of buried in here. But he says in the first paragraph, 15 to 20 degree temperature swings in this part of Texas give our bourbon unique characteristics that can only be achieved here. Their angel share, which is evaporation, fancy word for evaporation, is 15% per year, making our whiskey extremely rare and valuable to us. A lot of the whiskeys coming out of Kentucky and Tennessee talk about a 3 to 5% evaporation rate per year. So if that's sitting in a barrel for 10 years and you're getting a 10% or a 5% evaporation rate, half that barrel is empty by the time you actually go to put it in a bottle. These guys are saying it's 15%. Because it's so hot here, which is really interesting. But give this a shot. I really like it. Next week we're gonna feature the Harvest Host one, but I just really have enjoyed this. It's 92 proof. It's on the sweet side, but it is just so smooth and so delicious. You gotta try Outlaw Bourbon. That one specifically. Okay, let's do our song of the week. Everybody giving you that one. This is like crazy. So Lukenbach, Texas. So a couple things about this. This is Waylon Jennings. Willie Nelson is actually part of this song. It was released in 1977 in April. It was on the country charts until May of 1977. And according to Wikipedia, Waylon is quoted as, he knew it would be a hit song, but he never liked the song. And I'm like, it's kind of a toe tapper. I don't know. If you're all coming to Lukenbach, Texas, you got to play the song as you're coming in. So that is that. So let's see if we have any more questions tonight. Hey, we got a late incoming from Larry CMG. Thank you, Larry's just a cool cat. And sorry, we have a drink. That's for the belt. Let's see how much the belt was. I don't have my glasses on if I can see this. Please hold. Parts of $600. See if I can find the serpentine belt labor. I won't bore you with this. I did coolant flush because it coolant leaked. We'll put in the video. I can't see it. It's too small. Thank you, Larry, for that. I appreciate it, sir. It's so great. All right, folks. So I think with that, we're going to say thumb up if you enjoyed this tonight. Shared some really big stuff with you. The fire ant, apparently those of you that have had that experience, it's a nightmare, and how to avoid it for yourselves. Go through that with me and break down, watch that video. That'll be out in a few weeks, but wanted to give this audience, because you're all so great, on the What's Up Wednesday, the kind of the update on that. So I've never had use the, that's the second time I've used roadside assistance from Progressive. My brain's scattered tonight. Okay, last question, and from Rob. Rob's a great guy. Scott, after Florida Vanlife rally, have you filled up all the space in your liquor cabinet? Yes, sir. In fact, it is burgeoning, bulging, busting at the seams. So I'm glad we're having a camp out this weekend. Now it says, so I'm actually going back to Lukenbach. They're open until 9. Here's my camping permit. You see what it says on there? Let me get this off. So we're going to be super discreet, ladies and gentlemen. They're camping. See this? All alcohol must be bought at the Lukenbach bar. So we'll have to keep our libation discreet, unlike the Florida Vanlife gathering where we had it wide out open. It's $25 to stay the night. You can stay 2 nights. And for the live music night, like we're doing on Saturday night, you got to spend money on this, the permit to stay the night, and on the live show. So it's $50. And for those of you that are on your way to Lukenbach, I am so excited. I've got gift bags for you. I've been all this stuff, and I'm glad I got here without drama today to get this all set up. So we have a fun time this weekend with no stress. So with that, we'll call it a wrap. Thank you very much for joining us. And if our LinkedIn friends are still on here, thank you for that. Jeremy and Pash, just 2 of the coolest people on earth. And we'll see you next Sunday, episode 114, open mic night. So come on, be in the studio with me, ask a question, and we'll do it live for everybody. So with that, we'll say journey on, peace be with you, and we'll see some of you in just a few days. Adios.